Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. As usual, we are live on YouTube, so get your comments in and we'll do our best to answer them. Obviously, we've not had a midweek game, which we've usually had the past few weeks to discuss as well. So, yeah, if there's any questions, me and Ross will do our best to answer them. Before I come on to my guest tonight, always at the podcast would like to congratulate Mr. Carney. I was going to say Mrs. Carney, but she's not a Mrs. Carney yet, on the arrival of their baby girl as well. So big congratulations to Carney. That's him now. We get two children to look after and a podcast too. So congratulations to him, and he'll be back. He'll be back quite soon, Carney. I'm sure he will. So yes, congratulations to Carney. But yes, my guest tonight is Mr. Ross McLean again. It is us two on a Friday night.
It is, mate. As we've done quite early recently. We've done not bad, the two of us. So we'll see how we got on tonight. Massive congrats to Carney and the family. A lot of love out to them. It's the more Carneys we have in the world, mate, the better. The more Carneys in the world, the better. So absolutely buzzing to hear the news of his baby girl. And yeah, it's all smiles here, all smiles. Good to see everyone in the chat as always. Plenty to talk about, including some audio that's been released in the last wee while, which we will get on to. Don't you worry about that. But no, good to see you, mate, as always.
Yeah, we've got a kind of agenda to work tonight in terms of we'll touch on the Ross County game and the transfer window, etc., and move on to Queen's Park. But yeah, I obviously didn't see that until I just put my phone on Twitter there and it flashed up in terms of the audio for the Diomande red card at Tannadice is now came for us to have a listen to now. If you thought the one against Celtic in the cup final was bad, strap yourself in for this one because it's a shocker. If you haven't listened to it, just go onto Twitter. I think Heart and Hand have tagged it and stuff, but it's shocking. Basically, the two VAR guys are saying to Nick Walsh, Nick, this is not a penalty. You need to look at it. It is not violent conduct. Nick Walsh looks at the incident, wants several angles of it. They're still saying it's not a red card. And then Nick Walsh is trying to say that Diomande has slapped the guy, which is just sums up Nick Walsh for me. Ross, I thought I'd start with that because it's a bit of a laugh and it makes Scottish football a complete and utter joke, this, doesn't it?
It does. Honestly, I don't know where else we can go because it feels like the same conversations we're having most weeks. For me, the one thing I said, mate, before we came on air, see, if that incident happens in the 5th minute, the 10th minute, and you end up losing or drawing that game, it's moments like that that's cost us, and it's so frustrating to hear it back. The fair play to the VAR because they got it spot on. They were on it, and it's just the fact that Nick Walsh has went over, he's seen it, he's got the two angles, he asked for both angles, and yet it's still the wrong decision. So I don't know what the consequences are for that. I think he was put on VAR for the next game
Was.
after that.
So Hearts Dundee. It was Dundee against somebody. He was on the
Yeah.
VAR.
So I don't know. There needs to be some sort of I guess consequence put in place, and that we're told that's been the kind of action taken from it, because it's if we don't try and resolve it, it's going to keep on happening, and you're going to get those cup final moments. You're going to get moments like that. So yeah, I know it's a while ago. I know we won the game, but we still need to mention it because it's an ongoing problem, and as I say, we need to fix it before it happens again. So. Nick Walsh, but you know what? Watch him be on. You'll be on a game of us soon. That'll happen again. So until that happens, I'll just need to stay quiet.
Yeah, I'll look forward to the return of Nick Walsh at Ibrox. That'll be something to look forward to. I know we've not got much to look forward to in terms of league games this season, but Nick Walsh return to Ibrox will be a good one. I mean, they could release a DVD and these audios of the VAR. I mean, it's comical. It's absolutely comical, and it makes Nick Walsh look an absolute clown. It really does. It just shows what he's all about. It's all about him. It's his ball. It's his game. That's what he is. I call him Sergeant Major because that's what he is. He's just one of them. But I thought we'd kind of put the Nick Walsh thing to bed, but this appeared tonight, so I thought we might as well have a wee laugh about it. But yeah. If you haven't listened to it, go into it and have a listen. If you want to laugh on a Friday night, it's very. But moving on, we played Ross County at the weekend at Ibrox. It seems like ages ago because we don't have these midweek games at the moment that we had previously. Rangers ran out 4-0 winners. I'll be honest, I was actually away on a kind of mini holiday, if you want to call it, with my family up north. I did see bits of the game when I was away, and I could. Rangers looked extremely comfortable. Were 3-0 up quite early on, to be honest, and got the fourth as well. I think Nsiala was awarded the man of the match. What was your thoughts on it, Ross? I mean, Ross County this season, we've pumped 6-0 or 6-1 at Hampden, whatever it was, 3-0 away and then 4-0 at Ibrox there. I mean, they're a team that we've taken care of convincingly this season. Quite a poor team, to be honest. But yeah, I thought Rangers looked quite good in this game. Whether it's because the league's done and they can kind of relax a bit now, but I don't know what your thoughts were on that game.
Yeah, it was fairly dominant, mate. We were obviously me and Nicky were speaking about it on Tuesday. That is quite a few goals packed by Ross County this season. Let's be fair, they weren't the best of sides. Again, it's very hard to kind of make out. I guess I kind of come to conclusions after a game like that against so dominant against Ross County. But the old saying goes, you got to play what's in front of you. And for what it was off, it was a pretty good game of football. There was yeah, how did it unfold? Oh, yeah, so we had the Tav penalty which returned. So that's kind of all that matters to me. Those three words. So yeah, it's another home victory at Ibrox. That's the kind of for me. If we can keep that kind of that fortress Ibrox should be, we've dropped, I believe, if it was only one we've drew it,
Dundee
Ibrox,
United.
I think, Dundee United, yeah. And that's including, excuse me, that's including an Old Firm. So we need to just keep that kind of momentum going at home and see where it takes us. I hope that we need to kind of take that kind of that whole fortress thing into European football because that's where it really comes alive. And I don't want to get too excited, but I could see us going decently far in Europe. So we need to kind of keep that, as I say, keep that momentum going at home. But yeah, all positive for me, mate. All positive.
Yeah, no, I mean, the positives in the game for me were Yanis Hadji got 2 goals. I know his free kick had similarities to Braga all them years ago when it hits the wall and goes in the back of the net. John Suter returned as well to start the game, scored a good goal as well. Yeah, it was positives all over the park for me. I know it's Ross County we're playing, to be honest, and they're not a great team, but 4-0 at Ibrox, it's how it should be for me against Ross County on a Sunday. You should be beating teams like this convincingly. I mean, Celtic did it to Dundee during the week there, but the two of them should be doing this to teams now and again. Teams should be getting a doing. And Rangers probably could have gave Ross County more of a doing than what they did, but it was 3 points, a clean sheet, and there's positives there in terms of players. Nsiala Ross as a player, he's played 5 or 6 times now for Rangers. We didn't see him for ages. He was in the B team. He was brought in because of injuries, but he just looks so composed in a ball. Nsiala, the way he moves with a ball, his passing. What do you think in Nsiala? Obviously, we brought Fernandez in during the transfer window there, but he looks more than capable of playing at least domestically for Rangers.
At least domestically, and we'll come on to, I guess, the kind of promotion he's got elsewhere within the squad. But for me, Nsiala's, he'd probably say the first centre back in the team sheet for me. Obviously, Suter's come back to fitness. Proper has been decent recently, but in terms of a kind of consistent performer, Nsiala's right up there, and it's a credit to the boy. 22 years of age, and it's another situation with Clement where it was some of Igaman. Clement said he wasn't quite ready yet, get him up to speed. He said that with Nsiala as well, and it's came kind of to fruition again. So from that point of view, that's kind of potentially some credit to Clement there. To obviously we do want to see players come in like your likes of Fernandez. We do want to see folk come in, but if this is that's two bits of evidence that if we can let maybe younger players come up to speed, then that's potentially the kind of conclusion from it. So for me, Inciala is been at. I think if it wasn't for Man's goals at the moment, he'd probably be Insiala, be one of the talks of the town, if you will. So yeah, Insiala, please more of that.
Yeah, and I'd continue to play him at the moment. I mean, we're playing Queen's Park, and on Sunday it's a decent game. Obviously, it's a must-win game for Rangers against Queen's Park. I mean, they're not going to take it lightly. It's a bigger game than the Ross County game because we're playing for a cup here. So, yeah, but I'd continue with Seattle at the moment, especially against Queen's Park. I think he'd be more than capable to play against them. But yeah, moving on from the Ross County game, the transfer windows slammed shut earlier on this week as well. Rangers transfer dealings were quiet in terms of transfers in. Obviously, Fernandez came in, who came on the park against Ross County, but only played. They didn't play long, to be honest. And Lyle Cameron came in from Dundee on a pre-contract, so he'll be joining Rangers in the summer. Clement, at his presser today, I'll just read a couple of quotes what he said, but he says, "I'm very happy that Lyle Cameron's coming next season." Oh, I said a beat next season. It's part of your plans to develop young players, young Scottish players with potential. He has the right mentality and really wants to join the club. He understands what it is to require at Rangers, and he knows what the club is about. That is the kind of character we're looking for, and those who have the right mentality. We hope Lyle Cameron continues to perform well at Dundee. I did notice he didn't play against Celtic before he joins the club, as this shows the mentality of the player. He will give his best for the remainder of the season and to continue developing as a good player. What was your thoughts on Lyle Cameron? Obviously, he's been touted for weeks with Rangers, but they've got him in a pre-contract. I'll be honest, Lyle Cameron, he ticks boxes for Rangers in terms of Scottish homegrown players. He's probably not on a lot of money. He's the type of player we should be signing in terms of a squad player that has potential to possibly sell on, rather than going down the road like a Dowell, for instance, in the English market that we bring up as a squad player on big money. So it makes sense. A pity we couldn't have got him in January and sort of give him 4 or 5 months at Rangers. But what was your thoughts on Lyle Cameron in particular coming in?
Yeah, it's probably it's quite an exciting signing when you kind of sit back and think about it. One thing that me and Nicky mentioned is that he's a guy who can score goals. I think 8 goals, 9 assists from this season, so he's definitely not shy in finding the back of the net. It is unfortunate we couldn't get him in. I think Clement was kind of quizzed on it in his presser. Obviously, you want to get players in as quickly as possible. He kind of related it back to he wanted to get Jeffy in January, had to get him back in the summer, and it was a financial kind of, I guess, situation that he couldn't come in January. But for me, it's very exciting. It's a very Ryan Haymarch signing. He will very much like
He'll like
signing.
that.
He'll absolutely love it. So yeah, I just hope that he comes in. I think the one guess comparison that he's probably most easily comparable with, sorry, is Connor Barron. You know, that kind of Scottish young, as you say, a bit of a tick box. But if he can stake your name in the Rangers team, then go for it. Obviously, a midfield just now is probably pretty young when you think about it. You know, Nico Raskin is 23. Diamande is just not the oldest player in the park. So yeah, it's definitely a position that it's if you can make that jersey yours and go for it. I hope that it doesn't. You know, obviously we've seen young Bailey Rice coming in. You hope that both of them get the opportunity. You know, we want to see as many as possible, which is probably why just now Bailey Rice, I'd be playing as much as possible. So you do kind of make that shot yours, because we sort of Barron, as soon as Raskins came in, Barron's completely out the picture. So if we can find a way so everyone gets equal playing time. The one thing is with Lyle Cameron is that he's probably a bit more attacking than a Barron. So in terms of Raskin can play number 6 all day long, whereas if Cameron can kind of get further up the park, he's going to be contributing in a different area that we maybe aren't as strong in compared to, Nico Raskin could run 3 teams at once. So I hope that it's a signing for one for the future, and yeah, I'm sure Mr. Haymarch is smiling on this Friday evening.
Yeah, it ticks the boxes for me. Whether he'll be a first team player, I think you're kind of bang on with with Connor Barron. He's parallels with him, to be honest, in terms of good player in a team in Scotland. I mean, there's a guy in Dundee I deal with my work, and he's a Dundee fan, and he goes to the games, and he said to me months and months ago that he was their best player. He was the one he expected somebody to come in and take from them. I know, obviously, the boy McGowan, whatever he was, went to Celtic, but he said he's the next one in the Dundee team that will leave. He's a good player, and we've snapped him up. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he's like and when he comes in pre-season, obviously, and see if he's got what it is to make it at Rangers. And it'll be interesting where he can get in the first team, or is he a squad player? Because Connor Barron, when he first came in, I think we got a bit too excited about him because he'd done the basics in terms of running about and looking like he give a shit, to be honest. And he's kind of been found as a squad player, which we probably deep down thought he was going to be all along. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Lyle Cameron coming in the summer, and I think there'll be quite a few players coming in the summer, but he's one of many that's signed up now. So, yeah, good luck to the boy, and hope he does well. I know a lot of the guys in the comments are saying he was injured, which is typical, which is why he didn't play against Hearts or Celtic during the week there. So, yeah, hopefully he comes in with a point to prove, and I hope he does well for Dundee the rest of the season as well, because they've had an absolute stinker the last two games, 2 6-0 defeats. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But the other one, Fernandez, Ross, that came in, I know we've discussed him, but a weird signing for me. I get we need to bring a centre-half in, but I don't know whether he's going to play, to be honest, Fernandez. I know he come on against Ross County, but he's not will come on to the European squad. He's not picked for that either. So is he just a makeshift to the end of the season and then he goes back to his parent company? Because I know we've got an option to buy, but he doesn't look like he's going to play week in, week out for Rangers.
No, he doesn't. And I think probably a game like this weekend is probably a perfect chance for Fernandez, because if you don't play this weekend, I don't know when you are, because the fixtures coming up, it's looking a bit tricky to get into the team. It's the centre back position is probably one of our more stronger positions in terms of, obviously we know Balogun's out injured, Sutter's only just coming back. Don't get me wrong, but we've got some options there. So in terms of Fernandez fitting in, it's a lot to. It's very unlikely to suggest that a 22-year-old lad, unless he's an NCR, don't get me wrong, he's going to come in and, your back two are going to be both of 22 years of age in terms of NCR and Fernandez. So it is a weird one. I think you said a few weeks ago, mate, I thought you were absolutely spot on, that we need players now. Do you bring in somebody in for 6 months who potentially isn't maybe a project player, but somebody who's going to get us over the line, but also make us more competitive? I hope, don't get me wrong, I hope Fernandez can do that, but it's definitely, thinking of it now in terms of where the squad is, it does. It kind of leaves a bit of air to almost like a bit of tumbleweed going. I'm not too sure what the kind of situation is. So we're going to need to wait and see. Hopefully, in Sunday, he makes an NCAA impact. That's all we can ask for. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But again, Portuguese, he's got a cracking name. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
He won't have as good a song as Fabio Cardozo, though, I'll tell you that.
He will not.
That's a great song. I won't be singing it on this, by the way. I'll keep it clean. But yeah, Fernandez. Is he left-sided, Fernandez? A left-sided centre-half? I seen he come on for Inciala against Ross County. Do you know, is he left-sided? Is that his position?
Tell you what, I should go to VAR on this one. I believe if I
somebody in the comments will no doubt know if he's a left-sided centre-half.
Yeah.
I just wondered when I seen him. I'm just thinking for Queen's Park at the weekend there. Does he play Inciala for half an hour if he is left-sided? Because obviously that's where Inciala plays. Does he play him for half an hour? Not half an hour. The first half, sorry.
I think he is.
In the second half.
Yeah, I think he is right-footed, according to FootMob, so he's right-footed. But you never know. Let's hope he can fit into that left-sided slot.
Right, okay. Just was interested to see what side he played. I mean, a lot of these centre-halves can play either position, to be honest. I mean, we've had how many guys that are right-sided playing the left side? So and vice versa with the fullbacks as
Aye.
well. So it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, that was the two players that came in. Overall, in the track, we'll come on with the guys who went out, obviously, Ross. But overall, Ross, Clement kind of said today in his presser, which again I've not listened to it, but I've seen snippets online. I think he was disappointed in the business in terms of they didn't bring everything they wanted to bring in. I know they were linked to a winger that was at Man United, or he was out in loan or something potentially. I think he had 6 months left in his contract. That was a rumour, but were you disappointed in the transfer window? My take on it is just before you come in, I think Rangers look at it, or the Rangers board will be looking at it going, the league's done. Yes, we still have the Scottish Cup to play for. Yes, we still have Europe to play for, but January's a dodgy month to bring players in. Rangers don't have the finances to bring players in at the moment. They're obviously trying to get players off the books who will come on to, but I'm not shocked that we've only brought these two guys in. And let's say two guys, one's coming in the summer. So it doesn't shock me because the league's done. If Rangers were fighting in the league, I would expect Rangers to do a bit of business. They haven't because the league's gone for me. So what was your take on the... It's disappointing as a fan because obviously you want to see more players come in, but what was your take on the ins for Rangers overall? Were you disappointed?
I think it's probably a bit hard to be disappointed, mate, because you're spot on the kind of financially. Let's be honest, we can't expect to go and splash out X amount of money. I mean, kind of looking back at it, I'm trying to think of it in the sense of, Finlay Curtis has been given a contract extension. We're starting to see Rice come in. There's at least, if we're not getting players in the door, there's kind of pathways being made. Kieran Dowell's not here anymore. Rabbi Matondo's not here. So at least there's pathways for, our youth squad to get a chance. So as much as, don't get me wrong, on paper it maybe doesn't look too flattering, there's some definitely some, I guess, some positive signs from it. I do hope that it does open the window for players like Finlay Curtis. You don't come on to Old Trafford if you've not got a bit of something, that's for sure. So I think if we can kind of almost look at it as a sense of, right, we're not going to bring in a lot of players, but at least we're making some wee bit of freshness, some wee bit of rotation. So as long as, don't get me wrong, as long as turns out to be the case, if the young players do, get maybe a few minutes at the weekend, you don't see them for a few months like we've seen before, then that's a concern. But I do think that kind of there's foundations potentially starting to be built. I don't want to get too much on the Clement bandwagon. Don't get me wrong, but there's a wee bit of progression being made, and it's going to come from these youth players, mate. They're bringing the energy. So yeah, as much as again, it's not maybe the most for a youngster like me who would love to sign 8-9 players like I do on FIFA. It's not realistic. So we'll just need to put up with the one for just now, and we'll see in the summer.
Yeah, I think summer's a big one for me. Like I say, I'm not surprised, and it's a perfect opportunity to give the youth a chance, to give boys like Finlay Curtis, Bailey Rice, players like that, give them a chance. Because as I say, the league's done. It's been done for weeks. It's been done for months, and it's a chance to bleed these players. I mean, I don't want to be sitting here every January, February talking about bleeding young players because the league's done. I want Rangers competing in a league and trying to win a league, and hopefully that can happen next season. But it's a good opportunity to see if these players have got it for Rangers, because there's no point having a B team if these guys can't make the jump. And over previous seasons, it's been disappointing because these guys haven't seen a pathway. So we've brought players in that just Kieran Dowells, etc., that just haven't done it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see the younger lads, Bailey Rice's, Curtis, etc., to see what they've got. NCO's come in the park a couple of times as well. Looks quite a big lad as well. So yeah, I'll be interested to see them hopefully on Sunday as well. But players out, which we've kind of talked about a few of them. I know one of them we've referenced quite a lot tonight. Kieran Dowell has left. Apparently he's doing very well at Birmingham. Birmingham are loving our players, by the way. They're loving Kieran Dowell. They're loving Ben Davies as well. I don't know about Scott Wright. I've seen he's not in their team that much. I don't know if he's injured or not, but apparently he's doing very well down there, which is good news for us. in terms of Birmingham do have money, so they would afford to have him. Rabbi Matondo has left to go to, he's out in Germany, I think it is it Hanover or something he went to, and he scored scored an absolute worldie on his debut, the biggest Rabbi Matondo goal you'll ever see if you haven't seen it. He checks on his right foot and curls it right nearly in the top bin. What was before I go into other ones? What was your thoughts on the two of them going? And it's just typical when Rangers let players go. I know he's going into Birmingham, Dowell, but he's obviously shining down there apparently. And Matondo goes out to Germany and scores a worldie.
Of course, it's going to happen. It's just if it made sense, it wouldn't be Rangers. It's the one thing for me, mate. They're on loan, so they're still going to come back to us. That's the bit that kind of it sits with me. So we do want to just, if Matondo bags 8 goals in his next 8, then brilliant, because we're going to. He's basically trying to build his portfolio just now to hopefully get a move. Obviously, yeah, Matondo is a young lad. He will want to find a club that's right for him. So it won't be Rangers, unfortunately, but if Dill, if Ben Davies as well can go out and make that impact, that's all we can ask for. I'd much rather sit and have a laugh about them doing well than them coming back and they're stuck with us for the next however long.
Yeah.
They're obviously in hefty wages. It's kind of the mould we're going down just now is try to get that wage bill down, and that's your first step. Even the likes of Lyle Cameron, he'll be on half of what Kieran Dowell's on. That's it's frightening the amount of money I'd imagine that we're spending. The likes of the Kieran Dowells. So yeah, I do love to see the players doing well. Obviously, it does sting a wee bit when they don't do it in a Rangers shirt. But at the end of the day, if it can get them sold in the summer, because they're still Davies, Matondo, and Dowell are still on our books come June, July. So yeah, keep scoring the goals, lads, and we shall support you from afar.
Yeah, these players need to do that for us to get them off the books. It was like when Lammers obviously went across and ripped it up, and ultimately we got them off the books. I know we didn't get them off the books for the money we wanted them in terms of, but we got them off the books. But yeah, good luck to them. But they're big earners, Dowell and Matondo in particular. So Rangers need to get that wage bill down. Obviously, they shaved it in the summer. They've shaved it again in January. So that's their model going forward, Rangers, that they can't afford to pay these big wages to players going forward. That's why they're bringing in these prospect players, if you want to say. I mean, I don't like using it all the time, but that's what they are doing. Younger guys, kind of lower profile, lower wages. Can we develop them, polish them into gems, and sell them on? That's what Rangers are going for going forward. But two young lads that left the club, Ross, disappointing. The first one I'll come on to. Young Lowry went to, I think it was Wycombe Wanderers he went to, down in England. Disappointing for the boy. When he first came through at Rangers, I'll be honest, I thought he had a bit of a swagger about him, a bit gallus, which I think you need to be as a youngster at Rangers. Similar to what Barry Ferguson was like. Whether he had an attitude problem or not, I mean, we're not there at training or not, we don't know, but he just couldn't make it, Rangers. He went and loaned to Hearts, which I thought was a really good loan move for him. Started well at Hearts, fell away, came back to Rangers, and he's never made it, Lowry, at all. It's a shame in a boy, and I hope he goes down to Wycombe and does really well, but he's an example of a player that we thought was going to come through and be the next big thing at Rangers, and he's at Wycombe Wanderers now.
Yeah, I think for me it's quite telling. There's 3 managers that Lowry had at Rangers, and not one of them kind of favoured him. So that probably does unfortunately say a wee bit. Obviously, there's many rumours going about Twitter. Take what you want. But he's a lad that when he came on, he showed he has a wee bit about him. He's definitely, if he can get game time at Wycombe Wanderers, then hopefully he can show what we all thought he could be. But it's another kind of probably potentially like a young Kings, for the sake of their careers. You kind of need to move them on because they're not going to get the game time at Rangers. So yeah, it's all the best to the lad. It is all the best to him. Watch him score a hat trick or whatever in his next game, because it just seems to be the trend. But yeah, it's unlucky, mate. But hopefully, as I keep saying, if Bailey Rice can be the next guy to come in from our youth system, then that's all we can ask for. But fair play to the lad, and hope all goes well for him.
Yeah, no, I wish him all the best, Lowry. It's a shame it didn't work out for him, because that kind of number 10 position for the Rangers hasn't really been nailed down by anyone. I know Haji's doing well in it, and it's a shame for him. But good luck to him. You never know. A lot of players don't make it at Rangers and Celtic as well. Go down to these lower leagues and they can kickstart their career from there and move on. So we'll see what happens with Lowry. I'll follow him, his career, and see where he ends up. And the other one was Zach Lovelace, which I was disappointed because I've seen him recently. Obviously, he bulked up. I thought he looked good for Rangers. I thought he looked the type of player that we could give a chance for the remainder of the season and see if he's got it in terms of bringing other strikers in. He could play on the left-hand side, could play up front. But going by what I've seen online, it looked like he was potentially homesick. Had the chance to go back to Millwall where we signed him. I know I said a couple of weeks ago I think we got him for Watford or something. So I was close by, but it was Millwall at the age of 16 or 17. He came up to Rangers, but he's going back to Millwall for a undisclosed fee. I assume it'll be a small fee, to be honest. I doubt it'll be very much, but disappointing that we've lost him, Ross, because I thought he was a good player. He got injured at the wrong time, which again, the curse of Rangers. When he broke into the Rangers team and then get injured, but it's a shame. And another one I'll follow for when he's down at Millwall.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Were you at that game that he got injured? I swear I vaguely remember in the post match. Were you and Carney not at that game? I think it
Probably.
was sitting running away. I can't remember. I vaguely remember watching that. It's unfortunate for the lad. It's a I guess a signing for me, mate, in terms of a departure. I hope it doesn't come back to bite us with our current Danilo worries. It did look like Zach Lovelace was gonna potentially get back into a kind of Rangers mould. He was about to come on Old Trafford. So he was kind of in that similar kind of position, maybe just a wee bit behind the likes of Curtis's, etc. But he's a guy he was touted for the stars. There was kind of like an Agaman, the nutmegs on Twitter. There was plenty of them in the Rangers training. He looked like the next big thing. So it is unfortunate, but it's at the end of the day, if the manager doesn't see it in you, and again it's another player who he's been here for a wee while, then it must just not. It isn't just meant to be. Obviously, going back to probably down to see families, probably a big motivator for it as well. But again, likewise, all the best to the lad. I believe he's just 19, 20, so it's still very, very early in his career. So yeah, all the best to him, and if he can get some first team football, then that's brilliant. So yeah, it is unfortunate, but it's another one. We just need to hope they do well for their sake, and hope that we can find some replacements.
Yeah, it's a shame. But if he doesn't want to be here and he's homesick, then he's no use to us. So he has to go. As cutthroat as that is, but he has to go. So I wish him all the luck down at Millwall. I mean, Rangers to Millwall. I know the Millwall fans might not like that in terms of the Rangers are a much bigger club than Millwall. But good luck to him anyway down there. One other guy that was rumoured, Ross, going out the door, his agent's been talking about it, I think, Cyril Dessers, which we've discussed to death on this podcast over the last 18 months, I would say. But he was apparently linked with up to 10 clubs. Pretty much all of them wanted him on a loan signing, but Rangers didn't want to do a loan signing. It had to be a permanent for Rangers to do business with. But Dessers, what's your thoughts on him? Rangers, for me, wouldn't have let him go because, unless it was a permanent, because, as I say, Danilo, for me, he's injured quite a lot now, Danilo. I don't think he can be trusted to the rest of the season. You've also got Igaman there, Lovelace has gone there as well, so you're kind of light up front in terms of players. So I don't think he was ever going, and Rangers would have never dealt in a loan signing. Are you happy Big Cyril still staying to the end of the season?
It's a sort of question, mate. If you asked me a few weeks down the line, I could give you a completely different answer because I don't know what to expect from Dessers at the moment. I'll give him quite a lot of praise. Obviously, in the last game, he wasn't maybe the Cyril that we've seen the last few weeks, but I think you're spot on. We can't really risk it, especially with Danilo's injuries is the one that keeps coming back to me. It's just we can't risk having the one striker. So yeah, it's a guy for his sake. probably thinking he wishes he went off to America whenever the bids came in, because it never really looked like Rangers was gonna be the club for him. Igaman doesn't get dropped for me just now. Whether it's kind of the kind of question just now is, when Danilo's back, do you play Danilo and Igaman or Dessers and Igaman? It's kind of, we saw how well Danilo and Igaman was working. And I think Igaman also will get onto our teams for Sunday. I'm not starting Dessers on Sunday because I think Igaman's maybe getting a wee bit frustrated just now. I don't know. He doesn't seem maybe as involved as, as maybe as attacking as we'd hope he would. But in terms of Dessers, it's a guy who, let's be fair, unfortunately, a lot of Rangers fans will want them off the books, just for the kind of the track record that we've seen. But if he can produce the moments, especially in Europe, he's brought some brilliant goals for Rangers. It's the sort of guy who, if a game's one each, like even 1-0 as it was, against Man United, he's the sort of guy I'd back him to get a wonder goal because he's got that in him. So as long as he's not got a lot of time in the ball, he can seem to vary it. So it's, yeah, we'll need to hold on to him for now. He's a player who, I'll be honest in saying, if we can move him off in the summer to get a replacement, I would. But for the time being, I'll stick on the D9 train and hope that it takes us to a Scottish Cup. That'd be lovely, and a Europa League if there's one going.
Yeah, no, I think he's been very good recently, Dessers. I can't slag the guy at all. I think he's been good. I think he's benefited playing with Igaman in terms of Igaman's hold-up play, and he's got something to aim for in Dessers. I think he's been very good, Dessers. I'd continue with the two of them. I think it's working. I know he's not scored week in, week out, Dessers, but he contributes for the team, so I'd be continuing that moving forward. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, that is the end of the transfers in and out. Like I say, I think the summer will be a big summer for Rangers. I think there'll be players moving out and there'll be players coming in. And hopefully we get to see this real Rangers team that Clement wants, and the injuries calm down as well, because the injuries have been horrific this season, as they were the season before as well. But moving on, the Euro squad as well, Ross, which we've all been discussing. Obviously, Rangers sneaked into the top 8 of the Europa League format. We are in the last 16. As I say, we can look back and we can watch the last 32, knowing that we are in the last 16, which will be good to do. Because we've made it there to the last 16, we can make a couple of changes to the squads. So 3 players can come out, 3 players can come in. Players out: Kieran Dowell, Casemiro, Cortez, and the players in are Danilo, Hagi, and Inciala. Fernandez misses out as well, which suggests to me, again, I don't know why we've really signed him, to be honest. But Inciala probably deserves to play there in terms of what he's done. What's your thoughts on the players in and the players out? Casemiro and Dowell's a no-brainer for me. Cortez, he's just got the curse of Rangers, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've got the curse of Rangers, mate. I do hope, again, we were speaking before we came on, we still need to pay money for Cortez. He's an obligation. So for in 2025, I've got it down to under my notes. He's played 49 minutes this year, in 4 league games. That's 12 and a half games, minutes per game. Sorry. For £4 million winger, we need to be aiming a wee bit higher. It's a good point in the comments. You almost wish we could have brought in a Tierney kind of on the left. Cortez is probably your guy for that. He is your guy. It's just whether he can stay fit. Obviously, I think there was a game last season, the 5-0 against Hearts, that he got that goal and he got an assist as well in the day. And you could start to see that left wing position, that kind of that hole that Ryan Kent probably left. I'm not saying that Ryan Kent's the answer, but in terms of having a left winger who could make some impact, obviously Igaman's played there, but we need a left winger to really come in and stake their claim, because if you can get that sorted, then, I know that Tierney's only on loan till the end of the season, but if it was a fully fit firing Cortez, Tierney, Igaman, that's a pretty strong front three. So it is so frustrating. This again, it's all hypothetical because Cortez isn't fit. I think Clement said it's been situations that are they're not the same issue. They've been coming, it's just unfortunate, and they've been off contact as well. So it leads to suggest it's been in training. I hope it's just bad luck for the lad. I do hope it is. It has been a tricky year for him, but if we can get him fit and firing, then that's all we can ask for. When he did come on, he didn't exactly sit the heavily. He's not played a lot of football. Don't get me wrong, but I hope that he can come in and make a bit of an impact in terms of the players coming in. You've got Hadji, which is brilliant. Hadji's much needed as the number 10, especially when Tom Lawrence is just coming back to fitness. Tom Lawrence can score a goal for Rangers, but I'd much rather you had you over Lawrence just now, that's for sure. From a creativity point of view, Danilo, we need to get him. Once we get him back, that's brilliant. It's the one. Hadji and Danilo, the two folk who very strange why they weren't in obviously Hadji. There was kind of the drama with Hadji, but Danilo especially why he wasn't in the squad. So at least he's now in, and we can get rid of that problem. And Nsiala for me it's probably between Nsiala and Fernandes, and you need to go with Nsiala just now. He's proved that for me, he's a kind of when we were picking the Europa League teams for kind of the previews when Nsiala wasn't there, you were kind of scratching your head who's it going to be. Now it's an easy answer for me. Nsiala goes straight in there and gets as many games as possible. So yeah, it is unfortunate with Cortez. That's the one that Twitter's been going off on one today, quite rightly so. And yeah, hopefully we can see him back in a Rangers shirt very shortly. But to the three lads there's the positions. Go and get our jersey and play for us. So yeah, but NCL is one that's definitely exciting me. That's for sure.
Yeah, in terms of Danilo, Clement in his presser today said he'll be back in training soon. Obviously, we play these games the first week in March, so he's got a month. He's got a month to get back into the team, Danilo. In terms of Cortez, he's still weeks away from even joining training. So the time he comes back into training, we'll be kicking off this last 16 tie. So I get why he's not in it. There's no point having him. If he can't contribute, there't no point having him. So yeah, it'll be interesting with Danilo come back. I mean, I kind of nailed my colours to the mast with Danilo at the beginning of the season. I just, for me, I would have moved him on if I could have. I would have put him out on loan if I could have. He's just, he's not had the luck being at Rangers. Again, he's got the curse of Rangers with the injuries. And I prefer Dessers to him up front. I do. I know some people might say Danilo's movement slightly better, but I think you go with Dessers and Iggy at the moment. For me, Danilo's probably the third choice. Again, I hope he comes back and proves me wrong. Hadji's the one that I'm looking forward to seeing, because I felt for Hadji in these big games we've played, and he's sat on the bench and not being able to play because he's been one of our best players, Hadji, domestically for Rangers, and he's had to sit and watch us go to Old Trafford, play Tottenham, and he's fit sitting there, and he can't play a game. So he's one that I think can make us tick. And I agree with Nsiala. I think he deserves to play there over Fernandes. He's just come in. We've not really seen much of him, and Nsiala's shown that he's more than capable of playing. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the last 32, because there's again, we can watch it as a fan with no pressure on us, and we'll see who we're going to get ultimately. And as I say, the second leg of the last 16 is at Ibrox as well. So if Rangers can keep the tie alive in the first leg, come back to Ibrox, anything can happen. You know what Rangers are like in that. And Thursday night when that Europa League tune plays as well. So they're a different animal, Rangers. But yeah, it was. I think folk could have picked those players in terms of who was coming in and who was going out. So there was no shocks there at all. But moving on, we have our game on Sunday. I am sick of us being on the Sunday game with Scottish Cup games. Why do we never get the Saturday game at 5:30 like the other side of the city? They seem to get it all the time. We don't. But yes, we play Queen's Park at Ibrox at the stupid time of 3:30 in the afternoon. The subway for the Subway Loyal is open later. So the common sense has prevailed there in terms of opening the subway later, so the fans can get back into the city centre. I know we are stuck in the dark ages in Glasgow, but I think this is the second time they've opened it late for these games for the Rangers fans, which is good. Queen's Park are in the Championship. sitting fifth. The last round they beat Montrose 3-2. Queen's Park come to Ibrox Ross a Sunday at 3:30. Rangers should be taking care of Queen's Park. I did see young Devines went to Queen's Park on loan. Obviously, he can't play on Sunday. He's went there on loan. A player that I think will be leaving Rangers in the summer probably. We've not seen him at all. So, especially with our problems at fullback, he's not been seen. So, he's away there. But what's your thoughts on Sunday, Ross? Queen's Park at Ibrox. This should be routine, shouldn't it?
It should be routine, mate. It should, but as you say though, that is a bit of importance behind it because it's kind of one of the only things we're fighting for this season. They'll be right up for it. You saw the last round. The away fans were decent. I remember thinking back a few years ago when Partick Thistle came, there was a good turnout. So it should be a decent atmosphere. I don't want to sound too high up here, but it's a good day out for them. You know what I mean? Like it's a good away day. So it'll be hopefully a good game of football. For me, it's again I keep banging the drum and I apologise if I sound a broken record. Get the young players in. It's a perfect opportunity for them. I'd like to see a fairly changed squad, and we said that in the last round, and it was a pretty strong team. So I hope to see at least one or two players getting into that starting 11. So yeah, it should take care of itself, mate. 3:30 on a Sunday. It's what dreams are made of, and it'll be an absolute cauldron. Ibrox come 3:30.
A cauldron. I know. And the cold as well. At least it's not to rain at the weekend, so that's a positive. But it's just, I know is it in Premier Sports or something, the game? I'm sure it's in Premier Sports or something the weekend, but we always just seem to get a Sunday game. It's like, it's a Saturday game. At 5:30 on a Saturday. I know you don't drink, Ross, but at 5:30 on a Saturday for fans that want to go to the football, maybe have a wee bevy before and after. That's a nice, perfect time to go. But we always get the Sunday, unfortunately. Usually our excuse was we were in the Europa League or something, and they would bump us to Sunday, but we're not. So, yeah, it's a Sunday, so we'll see what happens. But Queen's Park, Rangers should be taking care of Queen's Park for me. They're quite a poor team, to be honest. I was actually hoped if we got Queen's Park at Hampden, if we'd reversed it, it would have brought memories of being back in the old banter years when we took, I think it was 30,000 to Hampden to play Queen's Park to watch Fraser Aird score a 90th minute goal for Rangers to win 1-0. So I don't know what age you were, Ross, at that time when that was happening, but
Oh, Jings, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you. But yeah, it's hopefully more than a 1-0 on Sunday. If it's 1-0, then Jings.
Yeah, I mean, there was bumps and groans when we played Fraserburgh in the last round in terms of the first half. But no, I'm expecting Rangers to play a fairly strong team on Sunday, Ross. I mean, it's a big game for Rangers in terms of they need to go and win this Scottish Cup. It has to win the Scottish Cup this season. Europa League for me, as I say, it's a sideshow, and I've said it's a good sideshow for us. I don't expect Rangers to win the Europa League. I'd love them to prove me wrong like they did a couple of seasons ago and go on a magical run. But the Scottish Cup, for Clement, he's got to win that. He's got to win it, and he's got to beat Celtic along the way as well for me. But Queen's Park, what is your team to play them on Sunday, Ross? Your score and first goal scorer.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring Kelly back in. I think Jack Butland's had a few games on the run just now. I think Jack Butland's a bit of a tricky one just now. I think fans are very much it's kind of half and half with him just now. I'd be keeping Jack Butland in terms of I wouldn't be selling him anytime soon, but I can give Kelly a game. Give Butland the weekend off. That could be a good idea. And then I'm gonna have it right back. Back to mate, Fernandez and Inciala. It's going to be a youthful back two, which I know is maybe a wee bit out there. But as you say, if he's not going to play this weekend, I don't know when he's going to get the best chance for him. So I'd be starting Fernandez there. Jeff Day at left back. I'm going a midfield of Nico Raskin, Diamande, Bailey Rice, and a front three of Curtis on the left, Tierney on the right, and Igaman up top. And I'm going to go... I'm going to go 4-0 Rangers, and Nick Walsh is going to love this. Diamande, first goal scorer.
Who Who's your midfield again? Your midfield three?
I think I'm gonna go Raskin, Dio, and Bailey Rice. I think that's my three.
Okay, okay. I'm slightly different. I'm going to stick with Jack Butland in goal to play him through it. I don't think he's been great all season, Jack Butland. I've said it. He's cost us multiple times. Um, I don't know what's wrong, to be honest. I know a lot of folks say he's just had a baby and that, but that's no excuse for me. As Roy Keane would say, as I said that before, he didn't have the baby. So I would stick with Jack Butland. Jack Butland is a good goalkeeper. He's just, for some reason this season, he's had a stinker for me. But the back line for me, I'd go with, I agreed Tab at right back. I'd rest John Souttar because he obviously started there. We don't really need to play John Souttar. I'd play proper there with Inciala, but at half time bring Fernandez on for Inciala. I'd have that agreed before. Left hand side, Jeffy. Middle of the park, Raskin, Bailey Rice. I'm going to start Tom Lawrence to give him a game. On the left, I agree, I'd play Curtis. On the right, I'd play Cherny. And I'd play Egeman through the middle. So I've got the same front three as you. Bringing Tom Lawrence back in because Tom Lawrence is a guy that Rangers probably potentially look to move in January. He's there. I think he's a useful sub for Rangers going forward. I think he can be made use of in the later rounds of the Scottish Cup, hopefully if we get there, and Europe potentially as well, and big games and domestically too. So I think he can be used. He did come on against Ross County, so I'll start him. It's a weird one because we don't have any midweek games, so you could play a strong team because we don't have a midweek game coming up. But that would be my team. It will be nowhere near that team, no doubt. There'll be a curveball somewhere come on, or he'll just go with the same old. But I'll go against Queen's Park. I'll go 4-0 Rangers, and first goal scorer, I'll go Cherny. So yes, Rangers should get the next round of the Scottish Cup. If they can't, then game's a bogey for me. Can beat Queen's Park. I don't know how many fans they'll bring, Ross, to Ibrox on Sunday. They've not got that big a following, do they, Queen's Park?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. I'd imagine it'll probably be similar to Fraserburgh. But yeah, it's again as I say, I don't want to sound too much of a snob. It will be a good day out for them. It is. I imagine that when a team from the Championship drawing Ibrox is a bit of a glamour tie. So it should be good, mate. I just hope that they're not going home too happy. Because if they are, then yeah, as you say, game is an absolute bogey. But yeah, it's just as you say, it's just about getting into that next round. Very good comment saying get Celtic in the quarterfinals at Ibrox. That would be jigs. Yeah, that would be quite something. So it's just obviously can't think about that yet. Still got Sunday to play, but yeah, you've got to go in just three 3 points is all that matters.
Yeah, 3 points, Ross. We're not playing in the
3 points,
league.
exactly. Yeah.
Throughout the next round, that's all we want, Rangers. Yeah, the quarterfinals. So I mean, Celtic at Ibrox in the quarterfinals would be tasty. I'm trying to think the last time the two of them played. The quarterfinals usually they play each other in the semis or the finals, so that would be a good one. But we need to get past Queen's Park first. We can't look past them at the moment. But yes, we're nearly at the hour mark. Because it wasn't a midweek game today, there wasn't much. I know we've had the transfer window in the Euro squad, but there wasn't majorly a lot of stuff to fill there. But I think we've done quite well, Ross, to hit pretty much 54 minutes. So I would like to thank everyone in the comments for tonight, and everyone that's watched this tonight. We're on course to, I think it's near 7,000 subscribers as well. So if you can like and share, we would appreciate that. Like I say, congratulations to Mr. Carney as well. Hopefully he'll be back in the podcast very soon. There will be a post-match on Sunday for the Queen's Park game. It'll be myself anyway. I don't know whether Mr. Carney will be the game or not, or whether he has father duties to do that day. So it will be me at least. And Ross, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Hopefully next Friday we might have another guest on with us too.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully, but to be fair, as you say, I think we've done quite well there. We've got on quite well and covered quite a fair bit. So yeah, looking forward to it. As you say, half three on a Sunday isn't ideal, but it's seen Rangers. I've missed them this week. I'll say that I've missed them this week. So yeah, look forward to Sunday, and yeah, watching Rangers with two children will be a tricky one for Carney, I imagine. So I look forward to hearing how he gets on. But no, yeah, just again, absolutely buzzing for Carney and the family. And yeah, we're going to Sunday, mate. So yeah, thank you to everyone in the comments as always. And yeah, we shall speak to you all very soon.
Yeah, no, we will. Like I say, I'll be back on at least on Sunday with a post match reaction to the Queen's Park game, and hopefully you will see a happy face for myself. And yes, talking about hopefully a Rangers winning into the next round of the Scottish Cup. But yes, we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and I will see you on Sunday.